Last December, when Naughty Dog released the first trailer for their upcoming game, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, it didn't go over very well amongst gamers, as evidenced by the like to dislike ratio on the official Naughty Dog YouTube channel. You can see it's currently sitting at 76,000 likes to 199,000 dislikes, which obviously you can't predict the audience reaction to your product when you're putting it out. But one thing about this that suggests that Naughty Dog was expecting the negativity was the fact that the comments were disabled on this upon the release of this trailer, which means like they were expecting people to speak negatively about it. Now, this is just my opinion, but if you're a company that's supposed to produce entertainment for an audience and you're expecting the audience not to like what you're putting out, then I would suggest you don't put that out and instead wait and produce something that you think audiences will like. It seems kind of strange to me that Naughty Dog would go down this route to try to release something that they expect audiences to hate. But as more evidence is coming out about the production of this game, it seems like that has basically been their goal all along. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet lead, says Naughty Dog head Neil Druckmann has been bootcamping her about The Last of Us Part 2 Backlash. This is coming from Bound in the Comics, where the lead actress for this game is basically saying, yeah, we expected people to hate this game when we released it. So he was just kind of getting me prepared for that, which, like I was just saying, that doesn't seem like it's a smart business strategy for a company that's supposed to produce entertainment. According to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet lead, Tati Gabrielle, part of her pre-production work on the upcoming Naughty Dog title has involved a history lesson from studio head Neil Druckmann regarding the backlash faced by The Last of Us Part 2 and its respective cast, as given in order to help her weather the more extreme of her future critics. Now, I would think if you're going to be signing on to something like this, then you should be getting prepared for people to actually enjoy it, as opposed to when they're hiring her for a job and be like, okay, just let you know we're producing this piece of content for an audience. The audience is outright going to hate it and you're going to get a ton of backlash for it. It's like, does that really suggest the studio is doing their best in order to try to win over the audience? Now, it's possible The Last of Us Part 2 Backlash was going to carry over to this game, or at least some of it was going to carry over because a lot of people hated what they did with that game. But I think a lot of the backlash surrounding Naughty Dog was mostly their reaction to said backlash for The Last of Us Part 2, where they're illegally abusing YouTube's copyright system in order to strike channels that were talking negatively about their game. Obviously, that didn't carry much goodwill towards audiences, but if this trailer was released and it just looked phenomenal, then I think there's going to be a lot of people who forgave them about it, or at least they would have allowed comments so people to kind of say like, okay, Naughty Dog might have messed up in the past, but this looks like it's good or something. They didn't do any of that. They were basically just thinking like, okay, we did something terrible in the past, like completely unforgivable, and we're releasing something else and we're expecting people to outright hate us, which, like I said, to me, that means you're probably a failure as a company if you immediately think that your stuff you're producing is not going to win over audiences. Reflecting on her approach to portray Jordan, especially given how much of a departure it is from her usual roles in both medium and setting, the actress recalled, Neil's been bootcamping me. However, more than just the game's lore or narrative, Gabrielle explained that Druckmann had instead been talking to her about the outrage levels towards The Last of Us Part 2 over its creative choices. Like I said, there was the people upset about the creative choices, but I think a lot of the criticism was mostly aimed at Naughty Dog and the way they handled the criticism, like I said, in an illegal manner. I know Troy Baker's experience, she said. I know Ashley Johnson's experience. I know Laura Bailey's experience. Reflecting on the backlash level towards both her and Jordan's character following Intergalactic's reveal, Gabrielle explained, I got a lot of love, but there was a lot of hate over me being a woman of color, me having my head shaved, all these things that I didn't even actually initially see. I'm out of the social media zeitgeist for that reason. I don't think people are critical over her because she's a woman or a non-white woman or anything like that. Like, obviously people were pointing out that sort of thing because it's like, oh, it looks like Neil Druckmann's trying to push some sort of agenda, but just think about many other games out there that have female leads and non-white female leads. I mean, no one cares about that. I mean, look at the upcoming GTA 6. One of the leads in that is a non-white female, and a lot of people are saying that game looks good and they're really looking forward to playing it, myself included. So you can't play the race and sex card in this sphere, because it really just doesn't work when you think about it for 10 seconds. A lot of the criticism about those sort of things was basically kind of coincide with comments about Neil Druckmann in the past being more anti-male and other things like that. So when you see a game with a character like her in it, then it just kind of looks as if like, oh, here's Neil Druckmann trying to push his own personal political agenda at the cost of a quality game that even he knows people will not be receptive toward. But one thing about this too is if she is purely just the victim because of those reasons, she's not really helping her case, because soon after that came out, she shared this post on her own personal Instagram story where it's a picture of her with the character or with Ciri from The Witcher, because there was a lot of criticism over that trailer when that was released about the same time, with the caption fragile masculinity, 100% incel tears. So DEI-licious, you mad bro, and that's the comment that she left on it. Now, when this came out, I actually said it was kind of funny because I like bad puns, and I thought this was at least a little bit clever. Even the style of it, I think, looks good. So I thought it was funny, and I was okay with this sort of thing if you're going to try to like kind of like poke people or whatever who might be critical over you. But I also said that this is not a good look for you sort of thing, because if you're trying to win over audiences because you're expecting backlash, this is the worst thing that you can do. Because one of the things I've said in the past in regards to a lot of actors and stuff that are terrible like this, or shows or movies that are pushing an agenda, is that don't go after the actors, or at least as a general rule, I say don't go after the actors, because more times than not, they're just people who are signed on to something, just collecting a paycheck. I don't really hold them personally responsible, especially since they're not the ones actually making the creative choices that people are opposed to. They're just doing a job. The only time, though, where I say it's kind of justifiable when people go after the actors in something is when they're doing stuff like this, where they're deliberately trying to antagonize people. Because at that point, I'm just like, well, I mean, if you can dish it out, then you better expect to take it, because people are not going to be so gentle on the internet. And if you're going to give it out, then yeah, people are going to give it right back to you. So you can't then claim victimhood afterwards, because I mean, you kind of brought it on yourself. A better approach would be like, if you were to try to win people over and be a little bit more understanding, if she would have put out a statement after the trailer's reaction, be like, yeah, I know what people are saying about this, but give it a chance, you might like it, or something along those lines. I think it would have gone a lot further in winning people over. There's probably some people who would think that it looks bad, be like, you know what, fine. I mean, I can respect that. Or if you would have done like, okay, yes, gamers are very passionate, they're very opinionated. Naughty Dog has done some stuff in the past that kind of trample on that, but you can give them a chance. We're really trying to make something that we think gamers will like. I mean, if you would have said something like that, that would have done a lot better than what they did. But no, you get these immature children out there who are like, well, they're going to make fun of me, so I'm going to make fun of them right back, because that really doesn't help out anyone when you do that sort of thing. And at the very end of the day, we've seen this time and time again where studios have tried to do this. Even major franchises have failed as a result of them going after audiences like this, because that's literally the worst thing that you can do in this kind of environment, is to try to attack the audience, because that'll just make your game fail, even if you are from a major studio like Naughty Dog. But once I did, she continued, Neil was like, ignore it no matter what. Me and you, we're going to make something beautiful. We're going to make something that we're proud of. I think, I mean, me personally, if I was making games like this, what I'd be proud of is making something that's very successful that people love, not just making something that pushes my own personal agenda that everyone hates and ultimately costs my company money. It should be noted that while Gabrielle did indeed receive her fair share of intellectually dishonest attacks, she also exacerbated the situation by mocking her critics by responding with a piece of fan art showing both Jordan and The Witcher 4 and the Ciri drinking incel tears. Okay, so I already showed you that post. But what he said about her ignoring it, I think that would have been good to tell her right at the start. Like, if apparently he was boot camping her on how to deal with the backlash or whatever, I think he probably should have told her then, like, hey, don't respond to any criticism, or don't respond to any criticism with any hate of yourself. Just try to ignore it, or try to be positive towards people who might be critical over you. And that would be better to win people over. Maybe during his boot camping, instead of just lecturing her on the history of Naughty Dog and all the stuff that he's done to ruin that company, you could just try to tell her, like, this is how you could respond to criticism, lessons that we learned in the past that didn't work out for us. Maybe you can try this approach instead, but apparently they didn't do that. Her time with Romano drawing to a close, Gabrielle ultimately admitted to her inexperience with the medium and asserted, this is a world, video games, that I've never stepped into before. So I don't want to put one thing in my mind of expecting it's going to be this way and then it's not, and then I'm unprepared or take it too lightly. At current, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet has yet to receive an official release date, though the game is presently listed on as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Given Sony's turn in recent years to releasing their titles on PC, it's likely that it will be given the same treatment somewhere down the line. That's really all it has to say about this, but let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think there's anything that she could have said or done outside of what she's currently done in order to try to win people over? Do you agree with what I was saying about how trying to actually be positive towards audiences as opposed to being antagonistic? Or do you think because of Naughty Dog's involvement, there is just no way that they can win people over? Or if you think there is a way that Naughty Dog can win over audiences, again, what do you think that would be? And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.